This undermines the integrity of the whole Northern Territory Police Force. They need to hold themselves to a high level of standard, no matter who they are or what they think they are. They're the Commissioner of Police. They need to be above reproach.
After nearly 30 years working for the force, Northern Territory Police Commissioner Michael Murphy's downfall this month was swift and clinical.
It appears that the Commissioner Murphy's made a mistake and he's paying a very, very high price for it, as is the rest of the Northern Territory Police Force.
His undoing started in February, when the Northern Territory's corruption watchdog released a summary of its report, codenamed Operation Apollo. At the time, the subject of the ICAC investigation was anonymous, but it was announced that an executive officer had failed to manage a conflict of interest when recruiting a long-time friend to a senior job.
People should be asking their questions of the ICAC. They're the ones who made this decision to keep it a secret.
After a week of secrecy from the NT government, which said it was legally bound from revealing the person's identity, Independent Justine Davis threatened to share the information under parliamentary privilege.
The kind of way it was being framed was that it would all go away, nothing to see here.
In early March, Police Commissioner Murphy revealed himself as the subject. He'd chaired a recruitment panel that had appointed his friend Peter Kennan to the job of Assistant Commissioner of Police. 48 hours after the revelation, Murphy was stood down.
But why didn't you act earlier?
It's been a very difficult period, and with the restrictions on information, I wasn't able to disclose what was in the report. I was limited to the public statement, and to a large extent I'm still limited in what I can say.
Regardless of that though, shouldn't you have made moves towards terminating the Commissioner's position?
I think people will make their, they will make their judgments about how I've handled this matter.
It's a small place, the Territory, so there's conflict of interest all over the place. And most of us are pretty good at managing that. When that falls over, like it did this week, then it should be addressed straight away. And if it's not addressed straight away, then we see the kinds of problems that we are seeing now.
Retired Officer Vince Kelly is the former boss of the Territory's police union. Last year, he conducted a review of NT police resources and says turmoil at the top of the force's ranks is nothing new.
Some of these problems are entrenched. We're not talking about probationary constables doing the wrong thing out in the road accidentally in the early part of their career. We're talking about senior police officers.
Murphy's departure marks the third Territory top cop forced to leave over the past decade. 2 years ago, his predecessor, Jamie Chalker, had to retire as concerns over crime hit fever pitch.
Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
And in 2015, John McRoberts resigned and was later jailed for 12 months after interfering in a criminal investigation into the rorts of a travel agent with whom he was having an affair.
I don't think any serving police officer would have any great pleasure or feel great about what's happened to the Northern Territory Police, particularly at a senior level, both with Commissioner Murphy, Commissioner Chalker and Commissioner McRoberts. It really, I don't think, again, people grasp just how changes like that and the sort of turmoil that cascades down through the workforce.
The man who threatened to sack McRoberts before he resigned, former Police Minister Peter Chandler, recalls his suspicions something was wrong.
I can't say that there was a disconnect, but there was always rumours that there were things that weren't right within the ranks of the police force. The penny dropped when I felt that I couldn't trust, or I'd lost trust in that relationship. And from then I thought, how do I then go and continue to work with someone like that? And then you start to think of the consequences.
While the Commissioner's legacy will include an emphasis on cultural change when it comes to racism within the force.
I'm deeply sorry to all Aboriginal Territorians.
Questions around integrity remain.
But I think ultimately what rank and file members want to be reassured is if the expectation on them is to behave with integrity, follow the code of conduct and do all of those things at all times, then senior management should not only talk the talk, they should walk the walk and display it.
I suppose if you're a police officer and you're in one of those locations and you see your boss is sitting in a big office, you probably think that they're not living in the same world you are. And the thing is that they're not.
Facing heated union and media pressure, last week Leah Finocchiaro announced a wide-reaching inquiry into all senior appointments made on the former Commissioner's watch.
Now there's a question mark around many people in the senior police leadership. That's not fair. We need to know, they need to know who they can trust, and people shouldn't be walking around with some sort of suspicion over their head.
Today, the full ICAC investigation was also tabled in Territory Parliament, finding the Commissioner's conduct was incompetent and negligent. It recommended policy change around recruitment in the force and training when it comes to conflicts of interest.
What's next? What do we do now? How can we get ahead of this, these difficult times? How are we going to recruit a commissioner that the community and the police force can have faith in?